third place match, and out they come. Japan v. France. And as I just said, if you want the third place medal in team at the World Championships, you've got to earn it. There is no joint third in team. And the Japanese team, Kenta Suzumura, Takahiro Shikine, Kiyosuke Matsuyama, and Kazuki Imura in reserve. And for France, Maximilien Chastanet, Pierre Wassel, Enzo Lefort, and in reserve, Alexander Cito. Now referees, alternating referees for this 9-leg match will be Gaspari Armata of Italy and Florin Jorge of Romania, and a great match to come. And I'm really happy to say Richard Cruz is here with us to do commentary for this match. And just to set the stage, Japan defeated Egypt 45-31 in the 8, and France beat Canada 45-24. But when it came to the semifinals, Italy too strong for Japan, and a crazy match between France and the USA. But these guys have got to pull themselves together if they want that medal, isn't that right?
That's right, David, and I think we've got a brilliant match ahead of us. Just looking at the team sheet, and my gut feeling is, having watched Japan throughout yesterday and today, I think they're looking pretty sharp. I think Japan want this. And one thing that's crossed my mind is that, as we saw the other day, Enzo Lefort is the individual champion, but that can sometimes work against you. If you're a little bit, if you spent all your energy, perhaps you're a little bit psychologically burnt out. That's my gut feeling, that they may be a little bit off form, but who knows? We want to see a good match.
Well, it will be Lefort to open and close for France, and Matsuyama to open for Japan, Takahiro Shikine to close. And our referee for the first two legs, Florin Jorge of Romania. And in the 9th and final leg of that USA match, Lefort was not looking his strongest. So let's see if a little rest has brought him back to form as we start the first of 9 legs. 3 against 3. Each has a reserve. And this bronze medal match is underway.
And Matsuyama goes on the hunt. Takes the blade in cart, but just ends off target.
And Lefort starting the match on the back line. But he gets that through.
Matsuyama a little bit casual there with the riposte, giving Lefort the chance to remise. And he gets us off the mark.
Off target.
This time Matsuyama's looking for the flank. Lefort tries a little counter-attack, but not quite successful. Attack off target.
Well, Lefort goes chasing. Matsuyama backs out of the way.
That's what we saw in the individual final, wasn't it, David? All those lovely broken time fleshes from Lefort. Let's hope his legs are fresh enough to show us a few more tonight. Beautiful to watch, I have to say.
Backline parry, riposte off target from Lefort.
Oh, fantastic. He manages to hold his composure on the back line there.
He only had a toe on that back line.
Great back line control. Of course, fencers are generally quite vulnerable when they're pushed all the way to the back line. If you go over, your opponent ultimately receives a point. Oh, and that's what we wanted to see. That lovely broken time flesh just brought his arm back. He showed us some incredible athleticism and finished in the right opening sector of the target.
And Matsuyama surrenders his weapon. He'll take another one.
Not such a big deal in the team event, surrendering the weapon, of course, because after this bout, he does have the right to get it back. It's not like a 15-hit bout.
But Matsuyama yet to find any traction in this opening leg.
There, Lefort finishes in the cart line, but Matsuyama anticipates it and does a lovely little cart riposte. Let's see again, and just nabs him on the shoulder there with the riposte. There's Erwin Lepeshu in the box, Team Olympic champion, and now coaching the Japanese team. Oh, lovely little stop hit by Enzo Lefort. I'll tell you what, David, looks like Enzo Lefort has got the legs after all.
Yeah, got his mojo back after that semi-final loss.
And that's a great opening bout, 5-1. French are in the driving seat.
5-1, and we go to the second. It will be Takahiro Shikine on for Japan. He'll face Maximilian Chastanet. Shikine has been, well, he's got a world ranking of 10 in individual. But he has been a consistent talent for Japan.
Yeah, that's right. A very strong fencer indeed. I was watching him yesterday in the preliminary rounds of the team event, and in fact, to be honest, all three are incredibly well conditioned. Great footwork on them.
But we look at the French lineup. Lefort is world number 4. Chastanet, world number 12. Cito, world number 17. And Wassel, world number 18.
That's a little slow pressing attack from Shikine. Draws the counter-attack and then just tries to hit round the back, but a little bit too low. Oh, lovely. Chastanet presses forwards. He's a bit like Macialis, isn't he? Brings the arm back right across in the cart line, presses forwards, and then a little step lunge direct to chest.
And catching Shikine off guard, I think.
Oh, and again.
Well, still Chastanet's attack.
Very tricky hit to do. All the way around in the cart line, brings it back, somehow manages to get the point on. It's late, but it's still valid.
Well, that was behind the back and around from Shikine.
That's right, David. Right round the back of the head. Prime riposte. Because they're so close, he had to go even further back behind the head to get the point on. Of course, you've got to be a little bit careful when you do that, not to turn the shoulders. I think it was clean.
Yeah. But France is going to make it difficult for Japan.
Now this is an interesting hit here. Shikine just draws Chastanet out, draws the counter-attack, and then makes him fall short with distance, and then plonks it on. lovely hit when you get it right. There, you see,
Yeah,
off balance.
just leaned back.
He'd committed, but he'd missed.
Well, all that work from Shikine comes to naught. Chastanet off target. Nice long lunge there from Chastanet, but again off target.
Just not quite finding the target, is he, David? Oh, look.
That was nice.
And that's what we saw earlier, this pressing attack, this Masiala's style. The blade right across in the cart line, and then he just doubles it back. Not this time. Attack from Shikine. 4-9. Chastanet drops his foil. Of course, if this happens, Florin Jorge just goes to his pocket to give a card. I was going to say, if you drop your foil, you'd still have the chance to parry with your sword arm. You can't parry with the back arm.
Right.
You can parry with the front arm. And your opponent has one chance to hit you after the disarming. After that, they'll call a halt.
Well, Shikine went for a flick to the back.
Slightly too high risk shot.
Well, that takes us out of the second. 10 for France, 4 for Japan, 5 in it for Chastanet, 3 for Shikine. And kind of a slow start here for Japan. We'll go to the third. It will be Pierre Wassel on for France. He'll face Kenta Suzumura.
That's right. On that last hit, if you go for the shoulder, you have to sort of do it as a shot to nothing. So you go for the shoulder, imagining you're going to miss, so you cover the next shot. If you put all your eggs in one basket, just go for the shoulder, there's a high likelihood you could miss.
Well, especially against a fencer like Chastanet.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so Gaspari Armata of Italy is up to referee our next two legs. Very patient attack from Wassel there.
I have to say, David, I wasn't expecting this at the beginning. I thought the Japanese were going to come out all guns blazing, but they're a little bit subdued.
Their match against Italy was let's just say a low-key affair.
Oh, lovely. Step lunge, direct lunge on preparation. Loisel just pauses, hesitates, and Suzumura accelerates into that distance. Oh,
that's lovely from Suzumura.
Absolutely, very nippy attack there from Suzumura. Presses forwards, again finishes on the chest. Seems, David, like this is the first match, the first bout that's taking place in the Japanese third of the piece.
That's correct. And Suzumura has definitely upped the pace for Japan.
Tactouche, and I wonder if Owen Lepeshu has divided loyalties there in the box. Because, of course, he is a French fencer himself, just recently retired. having won the gold medal in the Tokyo Olympics.
Oh, lovely there from Suzumura. Well, he now lives in the house of the rising sun, I believe, is the best way to put it. So,
very good. Yeah, that previous one. Oh, lovely, an attack in preparation. You see, they both come together, but Loisel throws the arm. And even though there's two lights, it's attack in preparation. Oh, now.
Returns the favor.
Now. Loisel's not happy, but Emmerich Kloss really doesn't want him to call for a video. What do you think, David?
I think that
I may have called for a video there.
Pretty much the same exchange in reverse.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's followed by a lovely stop hit.
So 15-10, sorry,
15-8.
15-8.
Yes.
We end the third. 5 in it for Loisel and 4 for Kenta Suzumura, who brought a little more energy to Japan in that leg. We roll into the fourth. It'll be Matsuyama against Chastanet. And maybe that's what Japan needs, is some of that Suzumura energy to get the ball rolling.
Let's see if Matsuyama will bring that energy. They certainly need to up the tempo a fraction here. Yeah, lovely. Just draws out Chastanet. Draws him out, and a lovely little para poste. Of course, it's left versus right-hander here, so Matsuyama just hits on the outside line, on the flank shoulder line. Chastanet very dangerous when he's pushing. So you see how he creeps forwards, he doesn't rush, presses forwards, and then he goes in when he feels he's got the distance. Of course, I say he's dangerous on the advance. He's also quite good on his back line, isn't he, David?
Yes, he is. But it's Matsuyama who's been pushed to the back line, working his way out now, building an attack.
Oh, a lovely para poste, but it doesn't find the target. So a slight let off there from Matsuyama, because just a one light counter-attack. 10-15, I mean, it's all to play for. It's early days, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what these kind of bouts are like, David. A lead can evaporate very quickly.
We've seen it time and time again. And if anybody is capable of coming back in a match like this, it's Japan. A counter-attack off target there from Matsuyama. Matsuyama building the attack. And off target.
A little bit of a protest there from Chastanet, but of course, if there are two beats of the blade, they generally give the priority to the attacker to promote attacking fencing. But he's asked for a video review.
Well, this is not the referee's video.
I'm inclined to say attack off target. What do you think?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so no change there.
Chastanet off target. As Matsuyama looked like he was going to keep going until he brought a red light up. Now, what is the... Matsuyama is getting another blade.
Just changing his foils, just trying to establish which one he wants to use. So, David, this is our debut tonight, I've realised, isn't it? I've known you for a long time, but we haven't actually commentated together until now.
Well, there was a little it's a pandemic that that put a
Yeah, there was a bit of flu going around, wasn't there?
yeah kink in that.
And that's an attack from Matsuyama, just lands off target. Yeah, Chastanet just a little bit too big with the prep as he comes forwards with the blade across his body, so Matsuyama decides to counterattack. It was a good idea, just lands off target though.
Well, just clinging to the back line.
Yes,
Matsuyama is through.
Chastanet's got very good control on the back line, but of course you are at a bit of a disadvantage because you can't go back any further. So that little attack remise there from Matsuyama.
And Chastanet will surrender his weapon.
Of course, to viewers out there who don't know David King is from Texas.
Oh, thank you.
Our Texan cowboy.
Who's lived in London for 25 years.
Yippee-ki-yay. Am I in the right dialect?
Well, close. Close.
Chastanet goes on the hunt, but doesn't quite land his attack.
Yeah, he's not having as easy a time in this leg as he did against Shikine.
That's right, David, and it looks like the Japanese are making a bit of headway here. Only 3 in it now. And it's these little incremental games. You don't have to win the match in this leg, but you just have to make incremental gains for your team, and then you pass on to the next man. And
that's right, but I think that they've certainly been watching Chastanet, and isn't it incumbent upon the team and the coach to adapt to the situations they're seeing?
Yeah, that's right. I'm sure the Japanese have done their homework, done their video analysis on the French team. That last action there, look, you see Chastanet beats the blade, and then I think he hits his mask, and sometimes when you hit a very hard surface you get a bounce out. So no light. You would expect an off-target light, but no light at all.
Well, I think one of the most important things here is the fact that Matsuyama has been on a 6-0 run here, and Chastanet has yet to get a point on the board. The target score for the fourth is 20. And so that means Matsuyama's got some room to roam here. First hit for Chastanet.
Matsuyama not quite happy about something, but his coach tells him not to go to the review. Don't know whether he's protesting a bit of head movement from Chastanet. I didn't see anything myself. Oh, lovely. Lovely counter riposte from Chastanet there.
Well, Matsuyama hands that weapon over to Gaspari Armata. So he's kind of going through him pretty quickly here. It's a good thing they can get him back.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe he chose the wrong weapon the last time he changed one. So a very clever little tactical break there from Matsuyama. He lost 2 hits on the bounce, and now he's reset the bout.
But at this point, in this fourth leg, it's been a 4-point net pickup for Japan. And, you know, as you say, incremental.
Slight incremental gains, but they're starting to lose those incremental gains.
Yeah, starting to give them back.
Chastanet's just got the recipe here. Starting to stretch the lead.
Yeah, all this hard work that Matsuyama has put in is starting to evaporate.
Matsuyama still not happy with the covering, but his box tells him not to go to the video replay. And there, just a lovely little counterattack. Matsuyama's left-handed, so he closes him in kata position. And that's what he needed.
Yeah. Matsuyama off target.
And Chastenay wanted a video, and you know what? I think it would have been a good call, but there's no video left, so always good to keep a video in reserve. Don't burn it too early, too recklessly. Oh, and this is what the doctor ordered for Matsuyama.
Okay, now this, the way that Chastenay comes in with that cart position, with the blade in that cart position, when you're up against a left-handed fencer, it's starting to look a lot to me that like that could be a real disadvantage.
Absolutely right. That's the end of the bout. Matsuyama goes for the foil test. It's still registering, so no need to overturn the hit. Yeah, like you were saying, when someone's pressing forward like that, it's a very strange angle to defend from.
All right, 8 in that for Matsuyama, 5 for Chastenay. 2016, we go into the 5th, and it will be Enzo Lefort back on for France to face Kenta Suzumura. And we'll see if Lefort still got his mojo going here.
Such a brilliant fencer to watch, isn't he, David? Enzo Lefort.
It's very unique.
Originally from Guadeloupe, I believe.
Like Yannick Burrell.
Oh, lovely attack on preparation. Just a little bit too big by Suzumura.
He was born in French Guiana.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, my mistake, but in the right neck of the woods.
Yannick Burrell, who's from Guadeloupe.
Ah, right.
His parents were from Guadeloupe.
Okay. Wikipedia comes to the aid.
No.
No.
The FIE.
Oh, the FIE website.
Suzumura off target there.
Ooh, and that's a slight miss there by Suzumura. Looks like he had a bit of an open goal as Enzo Lefort passed him. Of course, he had the right to riposte, but just missed it. Oh, lovely.
That was a lovely attack.
And that's why he's the world champion, David. Attacks like that, that's what the crowd come here to see.
Before clinging to the back line, comes out off target. I suppose my question is, if you're Suzumura or any other fencer, how do you defend against those broken time attacks? Do you to try and keep the distance close so that he doesn't have room to build them, or what?
That's a lovely little attack remise there from Enzo Lefort. Yes, you're right. You can keep the distance a little bit tighter so he can't build up the broken time attacks. Of course, if the distance is tighter and someone brings their arm back, then they're vulnerable to a counter-attack. Or you could break off the distance. You could go back a lot faster, maybe put a line out and take the initiative. What you don't want to do is be in between those two distances.
Well, and with his height and reach, closing the distance too much could be quite deadly.
That's right, you need a good feel for the distance.
Lovely.
And Florin Jorge, referee from Romania, very strong referee, calls the remise to Lefort.
25-16. We go, well, it's 5 in it for Enzo Lefort, 0 point for Kenta Suzumura. It's one thing that Japan absolutely does not need is to, no, this is not good. Shikine Takahiro is going to come on for Japan and see if he can repair the damage, but Wassell.
That's right, David. That wasn't such a strong bout there for the Japanese. They were starting to bridge the gap in the previous bout, but our world champion comes on. Gives us a lovely 5-0.
We've seen this several times today, and we saw it in the Japanese match against Italy, where in the middle third, the scoreline all of a sudden went 1-1-1. And if you lose your momentum, if you sort of let things slip away like that, it's incredibly difficult to recover.
That's right, and the momentum really is with France now. They've opened this up to a 10-point lead, and that's quite commanding in the middle of the match. Rami's good. Look, Mr. Lepechou is not happy.
Well, he let that, the referee let that carry on for a bit.
And was there a core in there? Was there a body-to-body contact?
I feel like there was. And Shikine...
Let's have another look on the replay.
Scrapes his shin on the side of the piece.
Minimal. Nothing, really.
Well, I think that's what Florin Jorge thought.
That's why he's the best referee, David.
Shikine off target.
Oh, lovely. Both come forwards, but Lascelles throws that arm, just gets the arm out in front. And now the Japanese are in a lot of trouble.
Now, Wassell on the floor, and he seems to be in a lot of discomfort. Let's see if we get a replay so that we can... Oh, stepped on his foot.
Yeah, sometimes...
You talked about that the other night.
Can be quite painful. You can sometimes take your opponent's toenail off if... I mean, it's a freak occurrence. You couldn't do it if you tried, but sometimes it happens. I did that once to Alex Tofilidis.
Does he still send you a Christmas card?
Coach had to pick him up and take him to hospital, I think.
So very quietly starting to build an attack.
See, Shikine puts the line out to try and break up the attack, but no, Lascelles creeps in. And I have to say here, I think the Japanese team seem a fraction flatter than I thought they would be.
Well, that's what we've seen today. And 30-17.
They are starting to really hemorrhage some hits here, and it looks like it's going to run away with itself.
5 in that for Wassell, 1 for Takahiro Shikine. And, you know, I said before, we saw this today. Japan against Egypt, sort of a low-energy match. Japan against Italy, a low-energy match. And you just can't go into a match against Italy. You can't go into a match against France. And then just sort of lose the plot right in the middle of a 9-leg match, because there's really no way back.
That's right. I think the Japanese really need to up the tempo here if they're going to make any kind of a comeback.
Well, they have their reserve.
Of course, we're in the last.
Kazuki Imura on now in the 7th.
We're in the home straight now, so 7th match, which means 3 matches to go. Each main fencer will get 1 more bout to 5.
So Suzumura finishes on a -6, and it was that scoreless fifth leg that did it for him.
Well, we were wrong to doubt Enzo Lefort, well, I was, because he's fenced a fantastic match thus far. He's still got one more bout, of course. He's still going to close the match.
Yeah. And he will face Shikine in that 9th and final leg. We have seen Imura a couple of times today, and he's pretty solid, but that was still Chastenay's attack off target.
That's right, still pressed forwards, looked for the outside line, for the flank, but off target. It's almost as if Chastenay's inviting that counter-attack, isn't it?
Yeah.
He almost wants to be hit so he can just finish, blend in.
Well,
but not this time.
Not this time.
A little scrap and one light to Imura.
Moore is putting the work in, but Chastenay.
You see what happened there? A little power riposte, but just short. So Chastenay very skillful there with the footwork. Just makes Imura fall short and then returns fire with his shot. We see again, look, there's a parry. Cease parry riposte, but it's a little bit short. And then Chastenay takes his go again. Very gutsy hit.
Well, there's enough space between them to where Chastenay can be innovative.
Yeah, I think the score is such that they can relax a little bit, maybe do some slightly more fancy things. Oh, and they're hitting at will now, aren't they? It's 35-18.
Yeah, they are. And 5 in that for Chastenay, 1 from the reserve Imura.
I dare say the rest is just a formality now. Well, you never know.
Okay, we have this, we've had it frequently where the scoreboard resets to a previous leg. And so they'll have to reset it, but it was 35-18, yes?
I believe it was 18,
yeah,
yes.
okay, so 5 for Chastenay, 1 for Imura. We'll go to the 8th. Wassel on for France, and Kyosuke Matsuyama for Japan in this 8th and penultimate leg. And Gaspari Armada instructs fencers to get their foot behind the line.
Could have a job on the underground with that line, couldn't
Mind the gap. Nice there from Matsuyama.
Lovely little cart riposte. Yep, cart riposte around the back of the head. Hits from Priem. It's going to need a few more of those.
Matsuyama's got the pace up here. Oh, lovely.
Yeah, you see how he's left-handed. He just comes around, he flicks Lascelles on the chest. Always a good hit against an opposite hander. Comes forwards, and there you go. There's the flick hit. Using the foil like a whip.
Yes, the final action, Matsuyama's attack off target.
I'll tell you what I saw there.
Tell me.
Okay, I'll tell you what I saw. I saw that the attack missed from Matsuyama. The referees have gone to a video replay. No one's asked them to do that. I saw the attack miss from Matsuyama, so it hands the priority to Lascelles.
Right.
And that was Lascelles. Was it off target or see it? We didn't go back far enough with the replay, and that was his turn. Ooh, well.
Oh. So attack, counter attack.
Looks like we got that one wrong.
Counter attack.
So Lascelles missed afterwards, which handed it back to Matsuyama.
That's some fancy blade work there. And Wassel surrenders his weapon.
Now, it's very hard to recover a match from this position. It's all but over. Of course, you have to try and think positively and try and up the tempo of the match and take it to the other team. But
you need to, you have to have some consistency in your performance, and you know, even if you get behind, you know, the USA, you know, was down to France and was able to pull it back, but there was one performer in the USA team who was regularly delivering the hits. And we haven't seen that from this Japanese side. All very talented.
And that's the attack. It goes through.
That was lovely.
Still 13 hits the difference, but he's got 2 minutes to try and do something about it.
Well, he's got room to roam, as they say, and time to do it.
Is that a Texan thing?
Yeah.
Lovely little para riposte there. 24-36, okay, so something's starting to happen now. They're starting to build some momentum.
Gaspari Armada having a word with Wassel. But we don't know what it was. Wassel off target. And
just a little bit careless there from Matsuyama. You would have expected him to get a light, but he doesn't.
Well, it's a 6-2 run for Matsuyama.
And there's another one.
Yep. And you know, still a 12-point match, and France is not in any danger, but he is definitely working on that differential.
That's right. The French don't want to take their foot off the pace too much. And Matsuyama perhaps complaining that his jacket's lighting up, which it is. So there's going to be a bit of a delay to the match. And you know what that means, David? An Arabic lesson.
Oh my God.
Well, we are in Egypt, aren't we?
Yes, yes we are.
Okay, here's your Arabic
lesson.
You knew that one already. Okay, what's the name of the president of British fencing?
Georgina Usher.
Okay, Georgina Usher. So take Usher,
yeah,
make it more guttural.
Usher.
And you've got the number 10.
That's great.
Georgina 10. There you go.
Okay. Well, right. I learned a...
Do you want to hear a little joke?
Oh, okay.
Okay, here's a little...
He said with great trepidation.
Here's a little joke, just while they're changing their jacket, because it does take a little while. There's a potato. And
Yes.
his name is David King.
Oh my God.
And David King is a very regular, boring, run-of-the-mill potato. You could say common. You could say David King is a commentator.
Oh. I'm going to turn the fan on here. I suddenly feel faint.
I thought you were going to say you're going to turn my mic off there.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh.
So,
this is, yeah.
Obviously, there's a bit of a delay here, and that's because you don't need to actually have a spare jacket by the side of the piste. You do have the right to go back to your bag and get one. It's a fairly rare occurrence that you light up, but of course in these hot countries when the fences are sweating a lot, that electrolyte...
We saw a lot of that in Antalya.
It's
all
European
that
salt, isn't it? All that salt in the jackets, it conducts, that's why you have to drink those electrolytes. And of course it makes a circuit from the electric jacket down the arm on the non-valid surface. So has the right to change, which he's done, and now he's about to resume the bout.
But that is that's an unpleasant and unwelcome surprise when that happens.
Yes, well, of course, if you're hit on the arm, the hit stands. You have the right to change your mask or your jacket wherever's lighting up, but ultimately your kit is your responsibility and the hit stands.
Well, speaking of European Championships, I remember in Zagreb, and I think 2013, when your teammate, James Davis, was in a match against Alexei Cheremisinov, and he had the same thing happen, but then he came back on to win it.
2014, but yeah, I know.
Was it 14?
I think so, yeah. That's right, Strasbourg. But you're absolutely right.
So off target there.
See Lucelle just looking for that stop hit. Oh, lovely, and Parapos flick to the chest. Like I said, on the opposite hand as that flick to chest is a lovely shot. It's like a natural shot that goes in.
Well, it looks like this break may have given Wassel some time to compose his thoughts, because from 6-1 down, we end this leg 5 for Wassel, 7 for Matsuyama.
So in the end, only -2 to the French team in that bout.
Yeah.
The Japanese needed more. It looked promising earlier on, but +2 in that bout, it's just, I mean...
Well, if you're going to run up the numbers, you have to make sure that they're not running up on the other side. So 40-25, we go into the 9th and final leg, and it will be Enzo Lefort for France to face Takahiro Shikini, but I think this is just a formality.
I think you're right there. It's just a formality to close the match. It would be a bit of a miracle. Of course, if you do the maths, he needs to win 20-4. Or the math, I should say.
No, the maths.
Quite right. Well, there's the first one.
Yeah.
Lovely little pressing attack.
I don't know if you saw any of the men's épée last night, but in the match between Japan and Hungary, third place match, there were 37 hits scored in the 9th and final leg.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Now that's quite rare in épée, isn't it? Oh, and Shikine needed that one. He needed that one. That's a big blow to him. He had a parry, lovely cease riposte to shoulder, but for some reason there's no light.
Well, Florian Jorge asked to check the weapon. It worked, and the hit stands.
And a lovely little blending and attack there from Shikine. That's what he needed. He needs to keep him coming. And there's another one. Oh, you see, and that's the danger when you're over-committed. You're then vulnerable on the preparation. Of course, Shikine had to push forwards. Oh, lovely. Well, there you are. There's your answer, David. That's what you can do when someone does that broken time flesh at you.
Well, just
Step
stand
back
there and take the parry.
Yeah, parry. Make sure you sit low in your stance and hit with the riposte. Beautiful hit. It's just a shame the Japanese didn't fence with this kind of energy at this tempo before, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's not just that. It is this sort of midterm lapse that they've had all day long, where the scoreline goes to 0-1-1.
A little riposte there from Lefort. I do appreciate that both teams are probably quite fatigued at this moment. They've done the preliminaries yesterday, and now, of course, the top 8 onwards, and these team matches are very fatiguing, especially in this kind of climate.
Well, Lefort needs one.
And he gets it.
To get the bronze medal here in Cairo. 45-30. A solid performance from France. An uneven performance from Japan, and something for not Enzo Lefort, Coach.
Owen Lepeshu.
Owen Lepeshu to work on in the off-season.
Well, you have to say it's been a fantastic championships for this man, Enzo Lefort, our individual men's foil champion and now a bronze medalist in the team event.
Well, it's always, if you're going to come this far, it's always nice to take a couple of things home rather than, just one. But being the individual world champion, and as you pointed out, now for 4 years.
Yes, for 4 years, of course, because the first title stood for 3 years. He's got it for another year, and then we'll see what he can do after that.
France has had an awfully good run at this World Championships, and you can tell that they're deep in preparation mode for Paris 2024.
Of course, they've got a home Olympics just 2 years away, and it means a lot to them.
Well, Arno Schneider clearing the floor and getting ready for our next match coming out. So Richard will be back for the gold medal match.
We will be. In about an hour's time, we're just going to hand over to our 5-time Olympian, Mr. Graham Bell. Of course, 5-time Olympian in skiing, so he knows a thing or two about being on the piste.
Thank you very much, Richard.
Thank you.
How many Olympics did you compete? It was 4, wasn't it?
Just 4, yeah, I'm afraid. You've beaten me again.
Yeah, but I had a slight benefit.
They changed the cycle, didn't they?
Yeah, so it was, instead of being 16 years, it was only 14 years.
Of course, the Olympics used to be the same time, the winter and summer, and then they offset them, didn't they?
They did indeed. So, Richard, what do you know about Sabre? Do you fancy staying in for them?
I think I'll leave that for you, Graham.
I like your commentator joke. It's very amusing.
I'll write another one in the break.
So there you go, confirmation of the bronze medal match, the team foil competition.